On behalf of the LaserCraftFest 2025, I was asked to make a tutorial on how to resin-fill your LaserCraft projects, which I just finished. Today I will show you how to design these eggs, and if you want to watch the tutorial on resin filling, it's not too late to sign up for the LaserCraftFest. The event will happen from April 8th to 10th. It is free and there's a ton of amazing speakers which will share and teach you a little bit of everything inside the laser business. If you want to join it, please check the description. I will have my affiliate link below. The event is free, but if you want access to a ton of other materials as well as free files, you can grab the all access pass. But today I am showing you how to design these Easter eggs. Not only will I teach you how to turn them into this cut design, I'll also show you how to make them as a scored design, similar to this file which you can find in my Etsy shop. But let's get to it and show you how to design these in LightBurn. As always, the first thing I want to tell you is that you need to go to Window, and instead of Fill Smooth, if you are in this view style, you will pick Wireframe Smooth. That will make your filled objects be line objects instead. I made a tutorial on how to design bunny shapes as well as the egg shape. If you haven't watched that already, you can find the link up here somewhere. But I will grab one of my eggs here and I will just copy and paste it over here to make it a little less confusing. Now we want to decorate this egg. I will show you both how to make it a single line egg for scoring, but I'll also teach you how you make it able to be cut out and resin filled if that's your purpose. You could also use them for something like this, but it's pretty easy. You have your egg here, and let's start with the simple lines. You will grab your pencil and you will just find somewhere on the widest part of your egg. Click from one side to the other. If you hold down your shift key, it will be perfectly straight. I want to overlap mine just a little. I'm actually going to do something like this. Now I will grab my egg as well as my line and align V center. I do want to use this egg again, so I'll just copy and paste it over here. I want this line to be slightly curved, and as you see, I do get this dot in the middle. So if you go to Edit Nodes, you can drag down the line here until you have the curving that you want. You could curve it to either side. I think I want mine around here. Now let's take this line and I'll duplicate it. You can right click your mouse and choose duplicate, or you can choose Control or Command plus D, which I will do in a bit. I'll just use my arrow keys to move it up. I'll duplicate it again, use my arrow keys to move it up around there, duplicate it again, and use my arrow keys to move it up. I do want these to be the same distance. I'll mark all 4 lines and I will go to this little tab up here and distribute V centered. They were already distributed, but that's okay. So now that I have them all aligned, I will group them. You can again right click or just use Ctrl G. I will hold down my Control key and click my egg, and then I will use this align center button. I do want mine to come up just a little, so I will hold down my Control key and use my arrow keys and place it where I want it. So now I have the foundation for my scored egg, sorry. I'll just move this up here. I am actually going to duplicate this one and move it over here. Now I always use black for cutting. I use blue for scoring. I will make all my lines blue. Then I'll grab my egg here and I will duplicate it. When you are duplicating, it will copy it directly on top of the other project. So I know that both my egg shapes are directly on top of each other now. I do want an extra because I will be using this one to cut off these extra lines. I'll pick my lines and I will make sure that they are grouped. Then I'll hold down my Control key. I'll click the X shape and then I can go to Tools, and down here you'll find Cut Shapes. Now when I'm clicking that, you can see that it just cut off all the X's. I'll just delete these, and I now have my scored egg. I'll group it and I'll move over here. This one I wanted to make cuttable. I will pick my lines and I'll make an offset. Go to offset shapes and you can determine how wide you want your line to be. I am in millimeter, and if I use 1 millimeter, one thing that you want to be aware of is that it will add 1 millimeter to each side of the line. So even though I choose an offset distance of 1 millimeter, it will actually be 2 millimeter wide. I will bump mine to 2, maybe 3. I think 3 will create a really great design. I will delete original objects and hit OK. Now I want my egg to have an inner frame to weld these lines to. So again, I will click my offset, but I will do an inward offset. And now you can see that this will only be 3 millimeter, where this one is 6 because it is the double. So I will make this 6. I could even make it 5. I think I'll go with 5. That will be prettier in the end. I'll toggle off delete original objects, and now I want to weld these together. So I'll grab my lines, hold down Control and click the inner egg part. I could just use the weld options over here, but to make sure that I find the right weld option, I will go to Tools, and in Tools you can find Boolean Assistant, or you can just click Ctrl B or Command B if you are on a Mac. That will bring up this little window. Now I can just hover over the different options and find the correct one, which is obviously subtract B to A. I'll click this and hit OK. And now I have both my scored egg as well as my cutout. That's the lines. Let's actually take my line X here and just duplicate them, and I'll use my arrow keys to slide them down, because now I will show you how you can add some patterns to these. I will click my pencil, and if I want square lines, I can click and snap it to the first line. I can then click and snap it down here, click and snap it, click and snap it, click and snap it, click and snap it, and snap it up here. I might even go in and add, no, I can't do that. I will edit nodes, and now I could even move these a little if I don't feel like they are positioned where I want them to be. So I'll just position them a little better by just dragging, and I think that I will see if I can get both of these in the top and alter the distance just a little. And now I have a pattern up here, and you can obviously perfect it as much as you will. I'll just show you how to design, so I will skip some of the steps. You can also add in some circles. So if you grab your circle tool, you can hold down your shift key. That way you will make a perfectly round circle. So I'll just drag this in here, and I'll copy paste the one that I have over here, duplicate it, and I'll slide it over. Now I have some circles to play with. I could also, what else do I have here? I have some stripes. Again, you can take your pencil tool and your line, and instead of going all the way through, you could click this line and just duplicate it, move it over. Let's say you tap your arrow on the keyboard 3 times, then it will make the same distance. So duplicate again, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3. And now you can go in with your edit nodes, and you can just snap them to your side. Be careful that you don't move the line to the side, because then you might make it crooked. And sometimes it's easier to draw them one by one. Sometimes this is easier. It's all a matter of preference and what you will find easier. But now my lines are positioned. So this egg is actually ready to go. I'll just delete the one over here. And now we can duplicate this one, move it over here. I'll show you how to make the cut version. Again, I will take my X shape. I'll just ungroup it. And now I can see I only have my X shape. I'll make the inward offset on 5. Hit OK. And then I'll just drag my mouse over all the scored items. I'll group them, and I'll make an offset outwards on 3. So you will have these tabs. I don't want those. Instead of hitting OK, I'll actually ungroup it. Then I'll pick my lines and start with them outwards down to 3. And then I will pick everything else. I'll just hold down my control key to release what I don't want. So I don't want these stripes over here, and I don't want the inner part of the egg. Now I can go in and pick my pattern. And again, my zigzag pattern up there will mess it up a little. So I'm actually going to keep them separately, and I'll just make it a little smaller so it will be hitting this part instead. And I'll just hit OK. So now I wanted my zigzag pattern to go on top of this pattern, but I don't want it to be overlapping. So I'm actually going to ungroup my lines. I can delete this reference line to make it a little easier. And the same with this one. Again, I will drag it up a little, so I'm sure that it will not leave me with these edges, like that. For the circles, I want to position them a little better. I'll just squeeze them in, so it looks better. And now I can take my circles and make an offset. For this one, I actually want to make a outward and inward offset to get the same thickness as the other lines. I will pick 3 outwards and I'll click it again, and I'll take the inward and click 3, and this time I will delete original objects. Now my round pieces are the same size. I do see that it will have some issues reaching this line, so I will just move it a little closer, and I'll drag my circles as well, just so I'm sure that everything is touching my frame. Now for these lines, I want to do the same. Hold down Control and release this one. And I want an outward offset of 3. And I can delete original. Now I have a lot of blue things to weld together. Again, I will take everything and I'll pull up my Boolean assistant. And I can't right now, so I will ungroup. I probably have to weld them one by one. That's okay. Boolean assistants, and in this case it's union AB, Boolean AB, my circles and the lines down here, the last line. So now I have my pattern. So all that's left to do is to take the inner part of my egg, bring up the Boolean assistant again, and this time it wants to subtract. I'll turn all of this black. And now I have my second egg, which is similar to this one. Let's see, I do have one with spots as well. Let's grab our blank egg here. And this one is really easy. Just take your circle tool. And again, if you hold down Shift, you will make perfect round circles. And now I just want to copy paste this where I want it to be. For easy shortcuts, you can click or hold down your Control or Command key and click Control C. Now it's copied. If you then click Control V, you can paste. So I'll just paste a bunch, and now I want to arrange them. And for a pattern like this, it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you have full freedom to make it exactly as you want. One down here. And again, I'll just show you. So I'll not perfect it anymore. Now I want to drag over everything, but I want to unpick my egg shape. So I'll hold down Control and click the shape of the egg. Then I am going to group all of these and I'll make them blue. Before I do the cutting, I actually want to duplicate this one. So I'll just move it over here. Now, the same way I did before, I will click the egg. I will duplicate. I'll then click my pattern, hold down Control, click the egg, and I'll go to Tools and Cut Shapes. Now I have my scored.polka.egg. And for the cutout egg, I again want to make the inward offset, which I had to 5. I'll not delete original. But now I just want to build in these parts that are sticking out. I'm going to ungroup and I'll click these eggs instead. Group these, and now comes a fun part, because I'm going to turn them red, since red is my usual fill color. Just set the output on. I want to duplicate my inner circle At this time, I'm going to cut the shapes again, but because my red is set to fill, it will not leave it open like it has over here. Let's show you. I'll click the pattern, click the inner part here, and again I'll go to tools and I'll pick cut shapes. I'll delete this one, and now I can actually also delete this inner part, and look what happens. Now I have the egg that is similar to this one. I'll just make everything black and I will group it together. The last one that I have here is the flower egg. Again, I'll actually just use this one since it is the last. Now I want to draw a flower first. To draw the flowers, you will pick a circle. If you hold down your shift key, it will be round. Now you want to add in some petals. So I'm actually going to just hand draw mine by clicking from one line to the next like this, and I'll create kind of a hexagon inside my circle. Now that I have my hexagon, I will choose edit node, and I'll click this inner part. Now I can stretch my petals to how I want them to look. This will create a more whimsical flower design. If you want to perfect it, you could just add round circles on the edge of your inner circle. Let's just make a quick little flower here. And I think this is looking pretty cute. I'll just make some of these a little bigger. It's pretty easy to hand draw flowers like this, in my opinion anyway. Now I have a single line flower. I'll just group it and I'll copy paste it onto my egg and make it bloom. And now I can just twist and turn and arrange it how I want it to be. Copy paste, move this like this, copy paste, and here's my last one. Again, I will just click or pick all my flowers. I will group them and I'll duplicate my egg shape. I will pick the flowers, pick the egg, go to tools and cut shapes. Delete the outer part, and now I have my scored design. I want to make the double lined design as well. So I will duplicate, I'll move it over here, and I will unselect my egg shape, and I will make an outward offset. So this time I don't want it to be too big, so 3 would probably be okay. I can still move this a little. So you do see that it disrupted my circle over here. So I'll just click it off and I will actually ungroup. Also, it did come a little close on this one, so I'll just grab it and move it a little. Same with this one. And for this one, I don't want to choose the circle, so I'll actually just pick my petals, the entire design, and I'll click off my petals as well as the egg. Now I'll group it and I'll make the outward offset and make it to, I think, hit OK. And now I have to fix this circle design. I'm clicking all my circles, and here you could take both, then it will make a line on both sides. And I'll just delete these inner parts. I should probably have picked the delete original objects. Now I can go in and weld my flowers to the outer part of the ring. Again, I will take Control B and bring up my Boolean assistant. There you go. Whoops, it pick that one up as well. Wasn't the intention, so I'll just ungroup. Let's try again. Control B and Union A to B. Then I'll click the next circle, Union A to B, and the last one. And that's a little frustrating, but let's fix that. Oops. To fix this little part up here, I do have to do a little additional work. So I will ungroup my flowers and I'll just click this one. I actually don't want this little part, it will not be visible anyway. But these flower petals I'm going to group and I'll turn them red. I'll just get rid of this one and I will duplicate this. And as I told you before, if you turn this into a fill color and you then click the next color, you can go to Tools, Cut Shapes, and then it will cut off the excess. Just ungroup it, and it took off too much. I will actually go back and regret this. I will take my little circle again and I'll just make it smaller so I still overlap the flower. I'll pick the flower, pick this inner line, was that one, this one, and I will go to Tools again, Cut Shapes, and I will ungroup so I can delete these spikes as well as this inner portion. So now I can weld my flower. You could have done this before cutting off the excess. So before I made my score deck, I could have made the double lines on the pattern instead of waiting with it till after. Now I want to add an inward offset on my egg, inwards, and I had mine at 5. And then I just want to group all my flowers and I'll click the inner part, hit my Boolean assistant and choose subtract B to A. So that's it, you guys. These are 8 different designs. So you have 4 designs of scored eggs, you have 4 designs of cut out eggs. I'll just make this black. And that's really it. If you want to add the hanger parts, you grab your egg. Let's just take this one, group it, and then you want to set the size. Right now my design is pretty big, so I want to have mine at a height around 10 centimeters, which is 4 inches. I will grab my circle and I'll drag the hole, and I usually keep mine at 5 millimeters. That's about 0.2 inches. Then you want to drag this down to the egg, click the egg and align the center, click the rounds, do an offset. I usually keep mine at around 3, sometimes 4. 3 will be fine for this one. And then you just click the outer parts, ungroup your egg, click the egg, the outer part, and weld these together. And that's it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and that it wasn't too confusing. There's a ton of possibilities on how you can decorate your eggs. As example, I also made this beaded pattern. You can make so many patterns and it's only your imagination that sets the boundaries. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel. I will have another video coming up on how to make 3D bunnies. I already showed you, as I said in the introduction, how to make bunny shapes, which you can also use for ornaments. And you could also apply these patterns. Let's just grab one, copy, paste. So you could actually go in and make the same type of patterns as you just made on your Easter eggs. Or you could make any other type of patterns for that matter. But in my next tutorial, I'll show you how to make these 3D bunnies. So if you want to watch that, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell for notifications. Please like my video. And if you want to boost my algorithms, please drop a comment as well. And I really look forward to teaching you more.